Better Together podcast.
Welcome to the Better Together podcast from the Fuquay Arena Chamber of Commerce. We are recording today from the Dashmore Conference Room and Studio, sponsored by Rescued Wood Rehab. The Better Together podcast highlights local businesses each week as the Fuquay Arena Chamber of Commerce continues to promote an amazing business community. I am Brad Marshall from Greater Culture CrossFit, and I'm joined by my co-host, the man who always measures twice and only cuts once, Marty Woodward from Rescued Wood Rehab.
Oh, Brad, if that was only true, The mistakes we've made. We are welcome to the Better Together podcast, and we are joined by Kat Entwistle, the owner of Home Court Pickleball, the award-winning Home Court Pickleball. So, Kat, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Gosh, pickleball. Wow. Who knew that pickleball would be a thing, and you turned it into a business. So tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So my husband, who is my partner in crime, he is at his full-time job, so couldn't be here today. But Joe, or Joey as I call him, we have really always wanted to just own something, do something. When I left my corporate job back at the end of 2023 and joined Original Strength Institute full-time, we kind of started that, right? I was like, okay, I'm going to build this nutrition business alongside OSI. And then OSI moved out of their location this time last year, actually. And we were like, hey, there's extra space. Why not? And that's how Home Court Pickleball became to be.
Opening a business always has its challenges. So what challenges did you face sort of in the beginning for Home Court Pickleball?
Well, there is really, the business plan is kind of an interesting process. You guys probably know, right? I would say our business plan was probably 25% accurate. It was a fun thought exercise, right? But honestly, when I prepped for this conversation and saw that question, the floor, hands down, the floor for the pickleball court. Anytime anybody says what was the hardest part, the floor. When we came into the Shops on Main space, there were 3 different flooring types in the area that was designated for pickleball. Enough carpet glue to carpet probably the entire earth. So that was a special time. And then we had to outsource our flooring. It's actually tiles, and it's made out in the desert of Arizona, and they can only work at night. And the program management skills of that organization are a little bit interesting. So we had a hard time with the floor, but it all turned out, and the floor is beautiful, and it's awesome.
Yes, those renovations when you start
Yeah.
are always a challenge in most businesses. So, pickleball has kind of just taken off, and as I kind of alluded to before. So, what are some other unique aspects of being in the pickleball business?
The community is really cool. Brad with Greater Culture, with the community, and Marty even with Rescued Wood Rehab, like you guys see the community and you get to meet a whole bunch of people. Pickleballers are wild. They are fun. They are a fun bunch. There's actually a group in Fuquay called the Fun Bunch Pickleball Players. I'm in their Facebook group, but the community is the best part. The cool thing about us, though, is that since we're one court and we're a private space, we're a really great location for people that are new to the sport to come and play. They don't have to stand in a line. I don't have people staring at them because they're the only ones that are on the court. So it's a really welcoming, inclusive, and great place. Also perfect for families. You don't have families queuing out at Ting Park or at Womble, right? They're coming and they can have fun and move with their families in basically their own personal pickleball court.
Yeah, I love that. And I think tying into the community and understanding, like, you just want to create a space where people can have fun, enjoy it, get maybe a little bit of fitness in. For those who maybe are unfamiliar with Home Court, you mentioned it's in OSI. Give us a little lay of the land of what you've got going on over there, and maybe even like hours and services and what people could expect if they're interested in playing some pickleball there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are located inside Original Strength Institute. You can access from Main Street or back, I think that's Spring Avenue, not Spring Street. And there's parking all the way around. Our signage is suspect. I apologize to the community and my husband for that, but alas, here we are. We have great A-frame signs out there. So within our Our space, we offer equipment. We have music for folks to play. We have an iPad. They can pick whatever playlist they want. We have seating both inside and outside of the court. So folks, if we have a larger group, they can sit down and watch. We include the net in addition. Some people have to bring nets to places depending upon where they go. And we're primarily a 1 and 2 hour rental space. So that means you rent the court for that period of time and you bring the people. We also do parties. We've done gender reveal parties. We've done birthday parties. We've done graduation parties. Fuquay Arena Downtown Association did a volunteer party. So we've had varying things, which is a little bit different than your traditional pickleball model, which is more open play, where there's just designated time for people to show up and play. So a little bit of a different, more of that private curated experience. And in terms of hours, I'm trying to run through all of the questions, and I think I ordered them or answered them in reverse. We open as early as 5:30 a.m. Monday through Friday. We open with the gym, and then we are open until 9:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. And Saturday, Sunday, we open at 7:30, open till 9:30 on Saturday, and 3:30 on Sunday.
Wow, that is amazing that you have that big of a span for people to go and play. And I think because when you look at even some of the local places, local parks and whatnot, their hours probably aren't going to be as expansive as that. And I got to imagine we're having this conversation right now in July in North Carolina, and you being an indoor facility has to be a game changer for folks who want to play pickleball with the heat that we're experiencing.
I forgot to say, one major key differentiator: we don't compete with weather, right? There's no sun, there's no rain, there's no wind, and so inside the home court pickleball court, I guess if you will, there's no weather. So. And we do have fans for folks that want to add some additional temperature control beyond the AC.
Yeah, it's a game changer. I mean, that means you can play, and when you make that time and commit to it, there's nothing that can stop you from getting out there and playing on the court.
Pretty much.
That is awesome. So I'm imagining that, we've already covered this idea of how you are set apart from other businesses. What have you noticed in terms of trying to get the brand out there, communicate with the community that hey, we've got space, we've got this opportunity for you to come out and play and have fun? What's that process been like?
I am not a social media expert, and that has been a very, very humbling experience for me. So much to the point that we have now hired our 16-year-old niece to do our social media. So if you see reels and posts on Instagram and Facebook, I can give enough credit that I sorted out the copy, but the creativeness behind it is my niece. So the marketing, it's really about just continuing to remind people that we're here. Being a member of the chamber is a benefit. Being a member of FEDA is also, or a friend is beneficial. And then just continuing to post in different communities, participating in events, being present, things like that. It's a lot of schmoozing, if you will.
Well, it's great when you put people in a position that they can be successful, and the 16-year-old nieces are the perfect person to do social media.
The way that she navigates CapCut, I beyond downloading it, I'm not quite sure what to do from there. So it's incredible. That
might be a tip for the entrepreneurs out there. If you're lacking social media presence, go find those nieces and nephews and see if they can help you out.
Yeah, Brett, I'm not sure I know what CapCut means, but it sounds like you've learned a lesson in business, and one of those is that you can't do everything. Is you need to find the expertise, whether that's a 16-year-old niece or whether that's somebody else to do some part of that business for you. So, are there any other lessons that you've learned from opening up this new venture?
Roll with the punches, right? You can plan, and part of this comes from my previous experience in program management and healthcare and product development, right? So and I'm a project manager. That is, you guys might have figured that out from our experience on the board, but you just got to roll with it. We can figure out all different ways that it's going to go, and then it goes the way that no one even thought possible. And it doesn't mean that it's bad. It doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just means that it wasn't what you expected, and now you have more data. Roll with the punches. You learn something new every day, and it is what it is.
And if somebody is looking to open a business, can you offer any advice that to a aspiring entrepreneur, like, hey, I want to go open a business, what would you offer as advice?
Ooh, great question. Talk to other people that have done it. I will say that partnering so closely with Danny and Tim through Original Strength Institute was definitely a huge benefit. They built OSI from the ground up 13 years ago, 14, I think, at this point. And so they really were very helpful in talking through some things. We have some friends who play pickleball, and hey, let me bounce this idea off of you. Truth be told, I don't really play pickleball very often. I'm the
Secret's out, folks.
Yeah, sorry
The
guys.
pickleball
Not the
lady does
expert.
not play pickleball. Well, that
No.
sounds like a challenge. I
Yeah.
think we need to take her on.
Yeah, no, I like to create the space for people to come. I'm more of the facilitator than the doer. So find people, build your community, because as you said, Marty, you can't do everything.
Yeah.
And so finding your people, maybe cliche, find your tribe. Ask them questions. Don't be afraid to Google things. We reached out to other people that have pickleball courts and tried to understand what their model was, and understanding what we could actually feasibly do in our space with having only the one court. So,
yeah, that's fantastic. So, you're coming up on your 1 year anniversary, right?
Yeah.
For Home Court Pickleball. So, what future goals or upcoming events might you have coming up?
Marty, I'm just trying to get through year one. I'm going to be very honest, y'all. Like, we learned so much, right? Like, as I mentioned, the business plan, it was like 25%-ish, right? But it doesn't give us the data about what actually happened. And so there's probably a really cool opportunity, and I guess I am going to actually really answer your question, but how can we make year two better, understanding how year one went? Where is there opportunity to maybe we did a tournament, our first tournament a couple months ago. So having more tournaments on the schedule. We are doing a league with OSI right now. And so is there an opportunity to do a league with folks outside of OSI? And so I think it's how do we make year two better than year one with maybe a few more fun events involved. And yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
I love the learning experience there of trying things, seeing what works. Does it work to partner with other local businesses, try leagues, try whatever we can to figure out and navigate it?
Yeah.
One thing I'm curious of, because you mentioned transitioning from the corporate space into starting a business, and I think there's a lot of folks out there who maybe have a similar aspiration. They've got this idea in the back of their head, and maybe they're a little nervous or they're a little timid. Can you talk us through what that process was like for you as someone who I know is pretty calculated and loves to have a process for everything? This might be helpful for our listeners out there to think, how do you go about that from having this stable corporate job to let's do this adventure and see what happens?
Yeah. First off, a very understanding spouse. I will just hats off to my husband for dealing with my wild, because there is no other way really to describe that. For me, my journey started probably about 5 or 6 years ago, pre-COVID. We had been talking with Danny and Tim about doing some other things with OSI, but I've always very much been interested in nutrition. My degree is in science and chemistry. And so the idea of, and frankly, we've just complicated nutrition, right? You're in the space. Like, we've made it so hard to do basic things. And so I became a certified nutrition coach. I was actually coaching part-time while I was working. And then it just sort of got to the point where it was like, do I want to make a ton of money, or do I want to do something that gives me joy and doesn't wake me up at 2:00 in the morning? And while the money is great, my mental health, my overall well-being was far more important. And so it took us about 6 months to probably really, I knew probably at the beginning of the year that I was going to be leaving at the end of 2023, but we really focused in June of that year, what do we need to do with shifting our budget? What do we need to do with just our lifestyle in general, so that we could still enjoy our life, but also we had to make changes based upon the change in income. And that was really the biggest part, was having that real conversation around, we have to say no to this and we can only say yes to this. And I'll say, a year and a half after having that conversation, actually 2 years after having had that conversation, my husband and I were actually talking this morning, like we've had a really fantastic time the last year and a half. And yes, it's been challenging, but we're going on vacations with our kids. We're still going out to eat. We're still, everyone gets what they need. And we've replaced a lot of like the things with experiences. And that's been a really fun thing to sort of see unfold. So it's a value conversation, I guess, is the very short answer to your question.
Yeah, I appreciate the insight because I like that it was thoughtful and that there's actually like, okay, we can do some things before we make the big jump. It doesn't have to be I make the big jump and we figure everything out
Right.
after the fact. Like, let's set the budget up. Let's start to make the plans and make the processes where we can maybe dip the toe in the water and ease into this lifestyle versus just the big jump.
Yeah. And so it was, again, my husband is he's a saint, honestly, because he just, whatever you want to do, let's just prepare me for it.
And I think that speaks to having a community around you, whether it's significant others, friends, etc., who do support you, because there's going to be those moments where you're like, was this the right decision? Should we keep going on this path? And it sounds like you surrounded yourself with people who helped you to say, hey, let's keep it going, even though you're 2 years into it now.
Yeah. I mean, our friends, and again, partnering with Danny and Tim, like they've all been super supportive, especially when we were building the pickleball court. There was a lot of community support from OSI for demo. We had some of our friends come and help with the floor.
It's back.
The floor, the painting, all of those things. And so the community around us, whether it's our close friends and family or, a couple degrees removed, has been, it's been really incredible to have that experience and opportunity.
Yeah, and I think it's a theme that we're continuing to hear with these conversations is how important your network, your tribe, your community is. We know Fuquay is a blossoming community of great people. You're on the board here with the Chamber of Commerce, so you get to see it as well. Are there any favorite spots for you around town that you love to frequent? And I don't want to call out, specifically the one, whatever you want to take that as, but where do you tend to frequent around town here?
I'm going to say, y'all, that question is dirty because...
You're going to leave somebody out. It's
right. Yeah. And so we did the podcast with Wake. Wait, I'm butchering this. Hope we crop that out. But they asked the same question, and I tried to name all of them, and I couldn't. I missed somebody.
Yeah, I did feel left out on that, Kat. I did
I'm
see
so
that podcast.
sorry.
Yeah. Is it Wake Up Wake? Yes.
Yes, Wake Up Wake.
Wake Up Wake. Yes.
I think that's what trips me up is that it's a double wake.
It's a great little podcast. It's out
is.
there. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but after you listen to the Better Together podcast, you can listen to that one.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Nice plug there. My favorite.
Or maybe you give us some genres of types of businesses that you tend to frequent around town.
So we usually always go to Nils for food. If you've not gone to Nils, you're missing out. You're missing a part of your soul. For ice cream, we tend to go to Pints or Fat Cat, depending upon what our vibe is, because they both offer great ice cream, different experience. OSI, of course. I don't actually own that, but I'm going to throw it out anyways. Sorry. I'm trying to think. I'm going to keep it brief. Although my husband would be upset if I didn't say Yellowbird Comics, which is they were our downstairs neighbor, and then they moved into Curated Crafts old space, I think this week. And so if you haven't checked out Yellowbird, you absolutely should. If you like comics.
I love it. And I highly agree with all of those, whether it's food, whether it's ice cream, whether it's the comic books, a lot of awesome resources here in town. You mentioned surrounding yourself with others who have started businesses, who you're partnering with. I imagine along the way they've provided some advice, and some of it has been helpful. Some of it's allowed you to continue to grow Home Court. So what are some of the best pieces of advice that you believe you've received as it relates to owning and operating a business?
Yeah, I think it kind of ties back to that. Just be flexible, roll with the punches. Also, some of the talking down off the ledge of like, it makes sense that you're going to have a slower month when the weather is beautiful outside, right? In that instance, we are competing with the weather. I think really it's just the roll with the punches, collect the data. I don't know anyone that has another pickleball business, but the fundamental elements of all business running is generally the same, right? Like roll with the punches.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think, you have already shared with us maybe one unique fact, that is the pickleball master does not actually play pickleball at Home Court. But are there any maybe surprising things that you've learned or that people might not know about your business?
I think it's really going back to that comment of pickleball players are wild.
Mm.
They're just a fun group. They're very serious too. They get very, very serious.
I've heard it's like tennis with an attitude.
Yes, and just smaller. And so my favorite is when tennis players come out and they're like two-handing the paddle, and it's like trying to leave the court. Like
As soon as you keep track of score and people get competitive, it is fun to see what happens. And I'm also, the thing with pickleball that I always find fascinating is the best players, they barely ever move. They literally will just stay stationary and make you run all over the court and just laugh at you as they're hitting the ball past you. And you're like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, the more experienced ones will get posted right up outside of the kitchen, and they will just, their feet are not moving, and they are just with their paddle, and they are down and low. If you guys ever played Wii tennis, right, and they're bouncing back and forth like this, I think I'm hopefully not messing up the sound. I'm thinking of Marty telling me to stay still.
I love that you described pickleball, and I also have a sense Marty hasn't played pickleball, because you said kitchen, and Marty's face got really perplexed with that.
I'm like, what, is there meals involved?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
We serve home cooked meals.
All right, fantastic. I'm over there. Yeah.
It's called Your Dignity. No, just kidding. Just
That's
kidding.
fantastic.
No,
so if I wanted to go and play pickleball, so share with our listeners, how can they reach you out there on the interwebs, or how do you connect with Home Court Pickleball?
Great question. HomeCourtNC, NorthCarolina.com is our website. At HomeCourtNC is our Instagram, and then Home Court Pickleball is our Facebook page. We also have a community, Home Court Pickleball community, for folks to connect with other players and keep up to date on events, things like that.
That's great, and we'll have your website listed on the credits at the end of this podcast. So
Awesome.
Be sure and check that out on our YouTube page. Kat Entwistle, I want to thank you so much for being a part of the Better Together podcast. The owner, one of the owners, with your husband, right?
Yes.
You got to give him a little credit,
Yes.
Joe, right? Of Home Court Pickleball here in Fuquay Arena. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and thank you to our listeners. Join us each week on the Better Together podcast from the Fuquay Arena Chamber of Commerce as we highlight great local businesses and entrepreneurs. So from the Dashmore Conference Room and studio, sponsored by Rescued Wood Rehab, I'm Brad.
I'm Marty.
And we are Better Together.
We're better together. It's a weekly podcast. We're better together. You should know that there's more in the dash. We're better together. Fuquay Arena, Chamber of Commerce. We're better together podcast.